This is a test. This is a PXU test.
Good afternoon. The Budget Advisory Committee is called to order. The committee secretary will note the committee members that are present and those that are not. First action item on the agenda is approval of the July 31, 2025 minutes.
I move to accept the minutes.
Is there a
Can I-
second?
I'll second.
Okay, so Mr. Williams moved to have the approval of the minutes, seconded by Mr. Rennie. Thank you. Public comment, the floor is open. Is there anyone in queue for online comment? Okay. Is there anyone present today for comment? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is information discussion.
So for today's meeting, our goal is really just to go over the September board presentation, elicit your feedback, and then vote to approve it with feedback, and then select the dates where we had conflicts with fall break or other holidays. So it should be a quick meeting if possible, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Did you want to go over any of the goals or
So
guardrails?
just quickly to go over the guardrails like we always do. Remember, our focus is on the priorities, not staffing or budget reductions. We rely on our knowledge, experience, and new learnings to organize the priorities. That's what we did. We're flexible, focus on innovation, and then we're continuing to use feedback from the community and all different community members to be able to make these decisions.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Diaba. Next on the agenda is action item number 6. It's the board presentation. During the committee meeting held on July 31st, there were 11 priorities that we had discussed and reviewed, resulting in the identification of 5 recommendations for the board. Next slide. An overview of the presentation will be shown above. The areas that the presentation will cover are role and goal of the Budget Committee, timeline of events, priorities recommended, and future direction.
So again, like we mentioned, due to the significant decline in enrollment over the next 3 to 5 years, the school board created a budget board committee. The purpose of the budget committee is to serve as an advisory board for, advisory body for the board. The committee was set forth to develop recommendations for budget priorities based on staff, student, and community feedback. During the last semester, the advisory committee worked tirelessly to organize priorities which will be recommended to the board tonight. So once, we'll discuss a little bit about like what the priorities will be, but then I'll remind the board that we're looking at reducing the budget this year by 15 to 20 million, depending on our enrollment figures for ADM, and then kind of share our experience. So that's this first slide. Pretty straightforward. Mr. Williams, did you have a question?
Yeah, back one slide on overview. Dr. Diaba, you worked very hard on your doctorate. Instead of listing you as Adrian, just first name only, can we put Dr. Diaba, everybody else's last name?
Yes.
Okay. And for the ongoing will, is that just
Sorry, that's my mistake. It's
Is
been
it
a
just
busy
busy
week.
ongoing?
It's ongoing. We will continue to organize priorities,
Okay.
and then continue to learn more about the budget and our financials for the district. That's
Right.
what it says. I will share that with everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We're talking about the,
Yeah, just talk about
Yep.
it or share your script, whatever you feel
Yes.
comfortable.
and we as a committee agreed on a timeline and moved as per the timeline. And we made sure that we will meet our September goal to present. So this is the timeline I will be explaining. I have not fully developed my script yet, but I will explain the timeline and the events that took place, how we concluded with the priorities.
Thank you. Dr. Dialba, next slide.
So just going back to the timeline really quick, if you look at it, like if you could look at it really carefully, like are there any issues with dates or times? I realize that we collected employee feedback probably a little bit before the second meeting, but it's hard to represent that. Really, there were still schools that were collecting it up until that, right before that third meeting. And of course, it wasn't perfect, but we did collect as much feedback as we could. So any questions regarding this slide? All right. On this slide, we'll kind of just show the different data sets, and the idea here is very much to show we're very much in alignment with the first two priorities. I think all three surveys show that. It changes, it switches a little bit for the third slide, but then if we go through and look at how you guys made your decisions, they're very much in alignment with the community, with the staff, and that's really what we're going to represent here and discuss. Any questions about this slide? Changes?
Can you, I would suggest pointing out too, kind of like I did in the last meeting, even when things are out of order, they're usually like within one or two above or
Yeah.
below. Like the trends are very aligned still.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Right. Any other feedback? All right, we'll move to the next one.
So the next series of slides will cover the priority recommendation from the Budget Advisory Committee, and they're all listed here. So the first is Student Achievement Instructional Services, second, Student Support Services, third, Safety and Security, fourth, Employee Salary Benefits Packages, and fifth, Facilities and Operations. So each slide following after this slide is just a single slide based on each recommendation, and so I will be providing some details and some background about each of these slides. So you'll see them in order here: Student Achievement and Instructional Services, Student Support Services, Safety and Security, Facilities and Operations. I will mention that Dr. Dialba will provide additional insight regarding salary and benefits packages. Did you want to go ahead and share that?
Yeah, so for this slide, I think one of the important things that we'll emphasize to the board is that just because something is a top priority doesn't mean it will not be affected by a budget reduction. This just gives us an overall direction. Every area will be affected by a budget reduction because what we're doing is significant. I'll also emphasize that employee and salary benefits package, that was really important to employee groups and to the committee, but that is something that is traditionally negotiated in IBN.
I also make that the same sentiment when I'm presenting throughout my script that I have prepared for the board. So I will be also addressing the importance and how the committee did a thorough job at looking at the importance of this particular topic. So that will be mentioned in my script as well.
Any questions or additional insights?
I do, so there's not going to be a slide for the employee salary benefits? Is that accurate? Like, that's not going to be a slide that's on there?
I didn't add it, but we can definitely add it and just discuss. We won't have a quantity, but we can say this was important and this is why. Is that something that everybody feels comfortable with?
I think it's important just because that was the discussion we have, and I think with all of the things you guys are saying, that it's not necessarily, it is an IBN role, but I think to the points you guys made, that it's important. I think if we left out a slide, I think there would be questions as like, why is that slide not in there and the other 5 are?
Okay, we can add that.
Thank you.
Right. Any other feedback? Any issues with any of the descriptions that were provided? They're pretty straight. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. They're very broad as well, but is there any additions, subtractions, or things that you want to remove, not subtractions? It's not taxes. All right, so in the end, essentially what we'll do is we'll kind of discuss future directions. So moving forward, the Budget Committee will continue working on eliciting staff feedback, student and community feedback, and to determine the next tier of budget priorities. Also, to ensure that we're increasing our transparency, we will also be sharing enrollment projections in this group, reviewing district financial information such as the AFR, the annual financial report, bond reports, budget revisions as necessary, and then the proposed and adopted budgets. Yes.
As part of the presentation, are you going to be sharing any of like the pie charts showing the actual, like the breakdown of what's M&O versus else, or salaries, like how much of that's the budget, or the dollar amount that we're projected to have to reduce? Or are we not getting into those numbers for this presentation because it's just about the priorities?
We can include, I went back and forth with starting like, this is where we're at in terms of money because we're on the first week of enrollment and I don't want to commit to a projection. But by then it'll be September, so we should be able to have somewhat an idea. I mean, it's still, around 15 to 20 million what we're going to reduce for this upcoming fiscal year. So I can certainly add a slide on that in the beginning to discuss, hey, because that gives the context of why the committee was created. In terms of this is the percent of salary of the budget that's composed of salaries. We can do that. We can probably even add that in the budget where we're discussing salary increases and benefits to share like this is the percentage.
It was enlightening to me to see how much of the district budget is committed to salaries and benefits.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good reminder for the public.
I see some nods as well. Yeah.
And any other?
The other thing I was wondering about, like a discussion prior to of how we started with the 10 and like why those were the 10. So I know there's like a list on the survey data, but maybe an explanation of here's the 10 that we started with. This is why we had these buckets, these ideas.
I do provide a short script regarding that, but I can definitely make sure that it's more extensive because I just wanted to do a brief introduction and go right into it, but I'll add more to that to describe how we came to the top 5.
Any other feedback?
I was just going to add, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but will we be reminding the community and the board of the survey results, like the one you just showed us? Is that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
In that slide is where we'll
Yeah.
discuss what the results are right there. Anything else? Oh,
So can we have a motion to accept the presentation to the board?
with edit, with revisions.
With revisions, yes.
Can I ask one more question? I know the future direction, the pieces on there, is there, like a goal moving forward? Is there like a, here's kind of what?
So the goal that's up there is just to have, by May 2026, if possible, the next tier of priorities completed, which would be the next five or six, whatever it was. That's the goal, because that would be for the following school year, if possible. But
It felt like we were almost on the verge of picking them last time. Like May 2026 feels like a long time out to,
we can change that.
yeah. I mean, if we get to them earlier, that'd be great. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Do we want to
So-
keep it? Do you want me to change it, or?
Right, that's
sorry.
what I was going to ask. Do you want to change it to a shorter amount of time, or did you want to keep it there and then explain that
I
we
mean-
could come to a consensus with more recommendations prior to this date?
Because for May, we would have to get them done by March, because then
Yeah.
in April, we have to go over the board meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I
And-
think
yeah.
we'll have them by May. That's a true statement.
Okay.
But I was making sure
Okay.
that, yeah.
We can always move ahead of schedule.
The other thing I was wondering is, since like this is a board-created committee, if like we are seeking like input from them of like what they want us to do next, if that is like an option, or like after they receive this information, like is there I guess it's up to them, but is that something we're looking for?
So one of the reasons why I added that fiscal transparency by, sharing enrollment trends, annual financial report, typically, a lot of times that is done at the board meeting, but the board had, when this was initiated, was essentially kind of to develop a place where we can delve deeper into the budget. And so it wasn't just, we had to come up with the priorities to address the significant decline in revenue, but really this is an avenue or an area where we'll continue to elicit feedback from the community to be able to even if, let's say we complete all the reductions that we need to, right? We should still be able to get priorities from our community to say, like, this is what we think, our budgets should really be aligned with this, with board goals. So we can certainly ask that question at the board meeting, or maybe even like if we do a retreat with the board where we go deeper into the budget.
My apologies. Are you looking more for an invitation from the board to provide the additional information, or are you wanting us to present an actual ask?
I guess I don't really know what I want. I'm just thinking like the board, like they've set this up, like
Yeah.
they've asked for this committee, and I think like we've done some of that work, but I guess just want clarity that we're doing what they expect of us, right? So like,
Okay.
maybe just some feedback, maybe would be just
We-
feedback
yeah.
from them.
We can
Um,
open it for questions and feedback,
Cool.
and then we'll do that. Uh-huh.
I also agree with Mr. Renning that we came into the work knowing that the board has created this committee. The intentions being maybe priorities, but we never heard from the board in general after this work. The future direction as we are moving in, it would be a great interaction to have. Say, what does the board think in general about this committee and its work? And it's just working on priorities, or is there anything else we as a committee they see that we can do?
Right. Yep, we can certainly add that.
Dr. D'Alba, I really liked the fact that you're circling back and stating that we will continue to talk to the community and to staff members, and students regarding timeframes. If you are able to provide the board or the community rough timeframes of when that might happen, I think would be helpful.
We can certainly add that. I can provide a rough estimate, but I think that's maybe something that we should decide in here because it'll depend on our time and how, I'm just throwing this out there. There was discussion last time about not just doing a survey. I think the survey did provide a lot of data. And so I think that that's probably something that needs to be discussed here as a team. But I can, say we're expecting next semester to elicit more community feedback to give some type of time frame. And then, we'll provide more details as we come. Because we can also present our, where we're at, in, let's say, February again. Or if we feel that we need to give the board an update after, we look over the AFR, then we can do that as well. So.
Which button I have to press? Dr. D'Alba, also, I know we are talking about timelines and everything else, but when you introduced the survey to staff and everything, you did make a video, right? Video presentation, and each campus was given enough opportunities in their staff meeting. So making sure that we communicate that we made our maximum efforts to take this survey on the priorities to as much as stakeholders we could, especially you explaining that 2 or 3 minute video, right, at each campus in their staff meetings,
Yeah.
so that the board knows that we did our 100% effort.
And I believe we sent out a link, was it via Remind to all families as
Yes.
well?
So that will all be discussed in the survey portion. I will say that I feel like one thing that we probably do need to work on for when we elicit feedback again is getting all our classified groups really engaged, because we did a good job at the campus level, but for example, there's other classified groups that aren't necessarily daily at the campus level, so figuring out a way to do that as well, I think, is important. All right, so we'll add those revisions. We'll probably send this out to everybody again, just to view, so that, to make sure that, that we captured everything. The board meeting is on September 4th. Sorry. So.
Is there any additional feedback or comments regarding the presentation? Okay, so we would like to request approval by motion to accept the presentation with revisions.
I move to accept the presentation with revisions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. So it's been approved to accept the presentation with revisions. Oh. Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Can I have a suggestion? Because we did work hard to come to this point, the only request is, I know we both will be along with Dr. D'Alba at the table, but if we all can show up at the board meeting, for that specific board meeting, it would be good. So it's a great committee work we did. So that's it. Thank you.
Is the presentation, will it, y'all be near the beginning end? Like if somebody were, I'm here the whole time, but if somebody were to plan to just be here for the presentation?
We're after public comment
Okay.
at some point. So that can take as long as it takes.
What time does the meeting start at?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. We do have open house at Metro Tech, so just aware I will come after that. But
Chair Payton, if I may, it's also streamed for those of you that can't make it if you want to watch it.
and I'm with you. I think it does show that we're all engaged, involved, if we all show up. So I do think that's a great idea.
Any
So-
additional discussion? Okay. So we'll vote now? All those in favor of accepting the presentation with revisions?
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Presentation approved. Thank you. Next action item on the agenda is approval of the Budget Committee meeting dates for the 25-26 school year.
I'm trying to remember. Ms. Ordaz, do you remember the date that was an issue last time?
It was for the fall break, or it was the fall break date? Okay.
Oh, if I can call your attention to this document, this says all that, has every date for the rest of the year. And so today's September 11th, the October meeting, last time we met, we proposed October 23rd. I don't know if that still works with everyone. Then the following month would be November 13th, which I don't believe conflicted with anything. Then December 11th. And then January 8th is another day that had where we had a conflict because that is a governing board meeting for the district. It's also 4 days after my birthday. Can we do it on my birthday's on Sunday. So if you want, we can do it on Sunday.
Okay, so the dates that we're reviewing at this time are for October, January, and March.
Yep, because March 12th is spring break. Do we have to motion and then discuss, right?
Yeah.
We motion.
I was gonna say, I'll move to accept the dates on the green chart.
Thank you, Mr. Renning. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Shaver. Any discussion?
That's, yeah.
I think my only concern might be the spring break one. I can't guarantee I would be in for that one, but
Oh, the spring break.
yes.
Because you
Okay.
have, your kids have spring break on
I believe there's also on the 12th.
okay.
Yep.
I think we're talking about shifting that one to the 19th.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Well,
we're
that
on
would-
spring break that week as well.
that would be perfect.
And I also like the idea of January 7th instead of obviously the 8th. That's too much in one day.
Okay.
Okay, so as of now, we're looking still at October 23rd, January 7th, and March 19th.
Okay.
Mr. Rennie?
And the January 7th, I think will work. Wednesdays can be a little bit of a challenge. That's when our standing like CTA meetings are, but it's not the end of the world. Like we can work with it. It's not, but
Yes.
just noting that.
Thank you. Any additional comments or discussion? Okay, so we are going to move forward with approval of the dates for October, January, and March. The October date is October 23rd. I was repeating. Sorry. Just keep in mind. So the October date is the 23rd. We're looking at January 7th and March 19th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Motion passed. Thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
And I second.
Ms. Schaefer seconds. Meeting adjourned. 4:58 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
2 minutes before.